Hey everyone, I'm Matt with Tractor Guys Garage, and today we are getting back on the mini bike project. What we're going to be doing today is taking a few things. We got the new swing axle that I have, or swing arm, that I welded up and got that all kind of mocked up. We got the frame that I've now since stretched and kind of made all the little necessary adjustments to fit that big old opposed twin Briggs and Stratton. I've already had it kind of mocked up in here once before, but we're now going to try taking all of these parts along with a big pile of other random stuff that's clattering up my workbench, slam all that into this frame, and start to hopefully put this mini bike together. And hopefully by the end of this video we might be seeing if she's going to actually move, or at least get it on its wheels. That's maybe the goal at the moment. Get it on its wheels, and then we'll see if we can make some movement happen from there. But so for now, what we're going to do is I am going to set you guys down. We're going to start putting this together, and I'll bring you back once we got her assembled. So once we get these finalized, I think I'm pretty happy here. I'll go through and I'll actually make a set of mounts to connect them all. And actually what I'll probably do is put a what I left this tab here for is I think I'm going to weld a rib running along the edge here that'll integrate into this shock mount and then go forward into the plate that is the front of the bearing here, just to stiffen this arm up. And I'm going to do that on both sides just to really stiffen this arm up a little more, just because we're putting a lot of load in this arm, and I just want to make sure that we don't bend that arm prematurely. Although to be fair, the original arm, which is sitting over there in that box, was actually a much lighter duty than this, and it never did bend. So in reality, would probably be fine without it, but hey, I got to make a set of mounts anyway. Might as well just make them a little heavier while I'm at it. The other thing I got to do, and what'll probably pinch us at the moment for making it rideable, is I got to get a belt. So I've got a formula that we can use. There's actually a chart online that I found measuring center to center distance and then the diameter of this pulley, and we'll be able to determine belt length off of that and then get that ordered. But that'll obviously take a little bit of time, so we probably won't be able to get this figured out before this video ends, but at least we can see if we can get her to run. Other thing I got to do, obviously figure out a seat, and then come up with some of the rest of the stuff kind of in this region. Got to get exhaust set up. I think I'm going to run a set of duals, shoot them right out the side here. Obviously we're going dual exhaust, you know, got a twin. What else would you do? Just go for some shotgun exhaust right out the back. That'll, I think, look pretty classy. Got to come up with fuel lines, fuel tank, kind of where that's going to sit. Yeah, I don't got a good place for that yet. Figuring out where we want to put all that in here. As well as a battery. That's also got to fit in here somewhere. I'm thinking we're going to stick something kind of in this region here, because the tire will not ever quite come up this far. So we've got a nice little spot in here. I think we can stick maybe a fuel tank or a battery or something, and then maybe also put the battery and or fuel tank somewhere in this area. I don't know. We got to figure out a good place for some of this yet. Also got to get a seat mocked up. The original seat on here was getting pretty rough. The plywood itself was starting to get a little bit rough. I do actually though have the foam that was in this seat, so I can kind of repurpose some of that to kind of make that work. And then the last thing we got to do is start to kind of figure out this front end situation, because when I built this several years ago, I just had two sets of arms that run through to this front tire, and there's no connection between those two. So we got to figure out a way, and as you might be able to tell if I there we go, you can kind of see tires kicked off this way because the forks are in there are twisted from where straight should be. So we've got to get that straightened back out, and then I've got to put some kind of a connection between these two arms so that they work together instead of trying to twist and do this whole game. So we got to figure that out as well. But you know, baby steps. It's assembled and it's on its own wheels. So for the moment, I think that's pretty good. We'll see how much more I can get done this weekend. You know, obviously got a lot of other stuff we're doing right now. This is just kind of a, you know, for funsies, because, you know, why not? Alright, well, it's the next night now, and I got a little more time, and I've done a little bit more progress on this here bike, and we'll show you kind of what we got now. So, looking at it, what we've added is a couple more small things kind of in this region here. Probably the biggest thing is I have got some wiring done. So I've got the air cleaner bolted back down. Now, partially because I needed to have an air cleaner, but also because this is where I'm putting all my toggle switches. There'll be another one eventually going right here too for the lights. But right now, I just have the 2 toggle switches that I've got started getting wired up. That's going to be my kill for the engine, and that'll also be what, when you flip it up, it'll energize power to the relay. That I'm going to have a relay trigger off of this that's also going to sit probably in here, or maybe up underneath here. I don't quite know yet. Somewhere this will be a master trigger that'll give power to the starter relay, or to the starter switch, and to the headlight and all that, just so that way I've got a little more control over making sure that the lights and everything don't short out accidentally. I've got a way I can shut that off if need be. But and then this right here is a spring-loaded toggle switch. That's going to be the starter switch. So to start it, you flip that up, flip up on the toggle. It'll start to crank it over, and then once it starts, you let go of the toggle. And then not only you have a kill here, you have the kill up here on the handlebars. So both will kill it just the same way, but then to actually truly shut the bike off, flip that off. And then I also figured out my choke. I've got that right here now, just mounted down in the blower shroud, and it just works, you see up under there, and set the choke. I also have a throttle set up now. I just have my regular twist style throttle, and I've got a little linkage set up for that. I kind of modified some of the factory linkage. I got to trim off a few zip ties yet just to finish it off. But see if you can kind of get up in there. Now that the air cleaner's on, it's kind of hard to see. Oh, there you go. Kind of see what we're working with there. If I can get the... There we go. And we do get full throttle just about. On this engine, I've never actually needed to go full wide open like that. And especially with the fact that the governor's now getting deleted out of it, or at least I don't have it hooked up. I have not pulled it actually out of the case yet. That's something I want to do, but for right now, we're just going to leave it in and just bypass it. But I eventually want to go back in and take that out of there so that way we don't have any issues with that governor later on. Still waiting on a belt. That's probably what's going to kill us for the moment. I got to get that ordered, and that'll probably be a couple days. So I think this is probably where we're going to end this video. Unfortunately, we won't get her driving in this one, but the next video we'll get a belt on it. And the other thing I figured out that I just kind of have mocked up right now is the fuel tank. So what we're going to do is I've got this plastic fuel tank right here. I think it's off some kind of a Tecumseh or something. I don't know. I think it's like a gallon, maybe. Pretty much closest to a gallon. Got the fuel fitting on that side, and basically this is going to mount up underneath right like that with a little bracket, and then the fuel line obviously will hook into it, go right down into there, and then somewhere in here I'll have a filter and a shutoff set in so that I can kill the fuel when needed. And then this will have a little bracket that'll hold it up under here with some angle iron and all that, also to kind of give it a little bit of protection. I don't think the tire can actually hit this. I think the shock will bottom before it would hit this, and plus there's going to be a fender on here. But just to give us a little more protection, I'm going to have a little bracket that kind of goes around the whole bottom of this thing to hold it up. And then in addition to holding it up, it'll give it that little bit of rub protection in case the tire comes up. But we still got to figure out a fender for that and for the front to give us some additional protection. That is also why, though, I put the blower shroud back on this side, and I think I'm going to cut a little more of it away just to give it some more airflow. But I do think I'm going to leave at least the back one and potentially putting the front one on as well. Because what I've found with, if you have an open set of cylinders like this, that tire sitting there throwing mud, it'll pack that cylinder head full of mud, and then you'll end up overheating the cylinder head. So what I think I might do, this is the original, what the blower shroud was actually looking like, because it had this whole big thing that mounted right there, that the original exhaust came up and over in here, and it had this whole big blower covering piece that was to fit on there. So obviously we don't need any of that anymore, so we can cut all of that off. But basically what I think I'll do is a similar what I did with the rear. I'll take and I'll cut all of that off and probably even trim it kind of down and trim some of this away too, so that it's only, you know, just basically giving it mainly a back protection, and then leaving this front edge all open for air to come, because air will blow this way through it. So I want to leave all this open as much as I can to help with that. But yeah, then I think, well, that'll help with some of the, I don't know how much mud this thing's gonna see, but I'd really rather not have to deal with that if I can just head it off as is. And like I said, the other thing I got to order is we got to figure out brakes. I'm going to see what I can do to find some a caliper and something else, just to kind of see what we can make work there. But all that'll probably be in the next video. But I think until I get some more parts in, I think that's going to do it for the moment. So I appreciate y'all watching, and drop a comment down below if you think of anything that I should do differently, or if you got some suggestions of things we can do to make this even better, or some cool mods that we can throw on there just to, you know, bring it up just that next level. Like I said, we're already going to be putting lights on it. It's going to have the shotgun exhaust. But if you think of any other cool things we can throw in here just to make it, give it that extra cool look, be sure to drop them in the comments below. But for now, I appreciate y'all watching, and when I get some parts and a little more time, we'll bring you back and we'll show you the next stages of it. So for the moment, see y'all later.